What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. It is a preview day, the big London derby, dubbing it all sorts of names, the El Sacico, the El Crapico, whatever you want to believe it is this weekend, it is probably. But, a big protest planned before the game against the board. And, I'll be there to cover the protest, cover the game tomorrow.
Do you envisage a large turnout? What do you reckon?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't think it'll be as big as last year. That's what I think. I'm not sure how many people are going to turn out. Maybe, I reckon, a couple of hundred maybe at the most.
Well, I just hope it gets a bit of attention, and I hope the message gets out there.
I think it's already got a lot of attention. Like a lot of mainstream media have been reporting about it. Billy T was on Talk Sport this morning talking about it as well, or maybe it was yesterday. It's got a lot of attention already. A lot, probably even more than some of the protests last year, pre-protest. So that's positive. Yeah,
and look, I think people, in my opinion, even if your messaging when you're going there, it's not like you want these guys out or anything like that, I think they need to up their game on the board when it comes to the footballing side. It's been way too long. I'm not even saying it's been neglected. I just think when it comes to board level, there is a lack of real proper football understanding, I feel. And I just feel like there's reasons why we're in the mess we're in. The hierarchy seem to have no real plan or idea of how to kick on or compete with where we should be from a footballing perspective. And I think recent events when it comes to the managers and who they've put in place have to me told that. So I think it's only right that the fans voice their opinions and voice their displeasure. But the reality is we are paying the highest prices in the league, and they should be held accountable. That's all this is about, I think.
Absolutely. So, yeah, let's see how it all turns out tomorrow. Obviously, we've got a game to play as well, which is a very big game when you're looking at the future months of the season or the outlook of the season. Because if we lose this game, then if alarm bells aren't going already, then big alarm bells go after this game. But look, we'll get into all of that in a little bit. We're going to start off on a Tottenham update, and we're going to start off talking about the update that Matt Law gave us today. First of all, he's talking about there are some at Spurs who believe the stadium and training facilities are all a bit too shiny and contribute to players perhaps feeling a little too comfortable in their surroundings. So before they were saying, not good enough, we got a new training ground, we got a new stadium, and it's great. And now they're saying it's a bit too nice.
So what do they want to do? Just make it a bit more horrible, make things scuffy?
We're going to downgrade the training ground now and remove a few seats in the stadium.
Everything's lovely and polished. We get some anti-polish, just throw some mud at the wall, just like maybe send the players a message. This is what you deserve. The mess on the walls is linked to the mess on the pitch. That's the message we've got to sound out there. I mean, it's a bit of an I don't know about it. It's an odd narrative, and it's also been peddled when it comes to opposition players. I've heard a few people say, when the opposition come to Tottenham, the red carpet's laid out for them. They've got a lovely dressing room and obviously a lovely pitch. And do they feel too at home in our ground? Is it intense enough? Do we do enough to make it more difficult for oppositions, apart from the way we play and all that kind of stuff? Look, I don't know if there's anything to read into that. I just think it's probably more to do with how we play rather than to do with the facilities. And whenever every player comes to this club and signs for this club, they always mention the lovely stadium, the lovely training ground, the lovely facilities. I don't see that being a negative. I don't understand what that point of view is trying to put across, that it shouldn't be so nice, it shouldn't be top of the range, it shouldn't be the best in class, because all of a sudden, once you've implemented all these things, it makes the players feel like maybe they've made it, and maybe because they have that feeling, they don't need to try that hard to maintain where they are or to push on to the next level because they already feel like they're at the top level even though they're not there. Is that the point they're making? I'm not kind of sure what the players are too comfortable. Should we make it uncomfortable for them? And how do we do that? Do we put spikes on the seats or something? What do they want exactly?
I feel like it's just a kind of excuse, isn't it? It's just something to talk about when the team aren't playing well. Like, it's just ultimately just an excuse at the end of the day. And look, the reality is, right, when you walk into the stadium, when you walk into the training ground, it is, unbelievable. It is the best in class. And when you go in there, I've said it so many times, is an illusion of like you're going to see the best team in the world and you're going to see the best team in the Premier League, and then the game starts and you're just like, oh well, back to seeing Tottenham. But yeah, look, the reality is the facilities don't align with what we're seeing on the pitch. The facilities align with the money that we're paying, the money that we're going to see, but then when you see the product on the pitch, nothing aligns. So it all comes down to what you see on the pitch at the end of the day. And if we had, you know, an unbelievable team and we were playing this great football, we were winning every week, then, you know, it wouldn't matter. But because we're seeing a shit product on the pitch, then people point to the facilities and saying this doesn't align.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess what's the point? They don't deserve such nice facilities while they're producing such rubbish. Is that the point? I think I don't really understand anyone. If some people are saying it's a feeling or that's a point, I don't really understand what you do about that, apart from making facilities worse to make it more aligned with how bad they are on the pitch. I think it's a bit of a nonsense, to be honest. I agree with you. It's just an excuse. It's like frustration maybe from maybe some within the club that the playing staff and the players and the management, because they're not the best in class. They don't deserve the best in class from within the club, because they should be aspiring to get to that level. And while they're not at that level, it's almost as if like they've got a feeling as if they are at that level with everything around them, when they should have the realization within themselves that they are not at that level. And so, but there's nothing to aspire to because they already have that feeling with the facilities that they are. But I just feel like that's a nonsense. I just feel, of course, the players should be given the best chance to, on the pitch to progress, and the best facilities to facilitate that progression. And there's no point talking about the facilities when that's not the problem, let's be honest.
Exactly. The fix here isn't to downgrade facilities. The fix here is to upgrade on the pitch.
Correct.
That's what the situation should be. And you know, people should spend less time worrying about how good the facilities are and start worrying about how bad the product is on the pitch. That's what it comes down to.
And obviously, you should aspire to have the best players to
match the facilities. Yeah,
of these.
Absolutely.
Facilities. That's obviously should be the goal. And yeah. It's like too shiny. I mean, what is that nonsense? It's too shiny and the players are too comfortable. Like, I don't understand what point they're trying to make.
It's an absolute nonsense. Let's be honest. It's a nonsense. It's an excuse. It's just something to talk about, basically, whilst people are frustrated with what they're seeing on the pitch. Mm-hmm. That's all it is. Next, Matt Law said that whilst this weekend's match between Spurs and West Ham has been described as the El Sacico, Thomas Frank has been given no indication that he needs to win to remain in his job at Tottenham Hotspur. I think it is somewhat surprising because I guess you don't want to put too much pressure. I guess you do when you're in such a bad way, but this game surely is massive in terms of the belief the boardroom have with Thomas Frank. You know, West Ham have been nothing short of disgraceful this season. One of the only teams that have been worse than us this season, statistically and in the league position. And if you do lose to this West Ham side where their manager's on the brink of the sack, they've got their best player looking to leave. They're fighting relegation, and they're not even fighting relegation. They're just embroiled in relegation, it seems, at this moment in time. You know, plenty of points from safety. It says a lot if Spurs don't win this game, particularly at home. I know we've already beaten them 3-0 at the London Stadium this season, but if we don't win this weekend, that should really ring massive alarm bells within the boardroom, surely.
I was watching a podcast earlier with Jack Pitbrook. He was on Echo of Glory, and he was making the suggestion if we were to lose on Saturday, it might be the most toxic we've ever seen it. Do you think that's true? He said he thinks anyway that if we were to lose, he said the Nuno how toxic it got in that game when we lost 3-0 to United, it would have nothing on what would happen tomorrow if we were to lose. Do you think that's true?
I don't know. I think the words he used are those the exact words he used there? Because I think it might be a bit hyperbolic, but it will get very toxic in there for sure. Like, I'm trying to think is that the most toxic that we've seen it in recent years, the Nuno sacking, or just
maybe you could argue when we were booing Vicario at Fulham, that was pretty toxic.
Yeah,
but
I wasn't there that day.
Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to the crowd really getting on the team's back and really going for the ownership within a game. Probably that United game was the pinnacle of that, you'd probably say, and it pretty much did get him sacked off the back of that, and it prompted big changes after that day. Yeah, I'm trying to think off the top of my head of when it's got that toxic. I think last season, obviously we had some bad defeats. For the Ipswich game and the Leicester game, I wasn't there, so I don't know how bad it actually got in the stadium in terms of toxicity. I don't remember it being. I remember there was more apathy, expectation we're going to lose every week, I guess. Yeah. Right now, there's a bit more anger because we've started a new project, we've gone a new direction, and, we've installed a manager who a lot of people just don't vibe with, I guess, and a lot of people, let's be honest, he's kind of trying to play mid-table football. At least last season there was a realization within the fans that we are trying to play top-level football, but we were just failing very badly at it. It seems like right now we're trying to play mid-table football and failing at that, it seems. But when it comes to Frank's job, yeah, I think it's similar to what we heard last season with Ange during the season. The fact that with every defeat, we were kind of hearing his job's not in jeopardy, he's safe, and they did usually give the caveat, there is an expectation, form has to improve, and all this kind of stuff, which never really happened, and he still kind of stayed. They ended up lost his job in the summer. I kind of feel like maybe we're going to do the same here. I think as well, losing a manager mid-season, there is a acceptance that it's never really a good situation, because you go with a interim, and unless you've got a really good outstanding candidate to come in right now for the future, it's never really a good thing to lose a manager mid-season to install an interim. So I think the club as well, going in this new direction and the rebrand, they want to be seen to be giving the manager every opportunity and giving him, wanting to back him through some tough times. I'm guessing that's what they're trying to do. But yeah, I think they are going to probably just keep him around till the end of the season. I think that's the plan. But unless, you never know, football is a very emotional game and things can change. Let's say we have however unlikely it is, let's say we have a heavy defeat tomorrow. All of a sudden, do they start to really panic and go, okay, well, let's just change it?
Yeah, surely it's not possible to have a heavy defeat tomorrow.
I'm saying,
however
unlikely it is, I'm not sitting here saying that's going to happen. I'm saying if it were to happen tomorrow, would that change that stance they're talking about?
I just think never mind a heavy defeat, if we lose tomorrow, an emotional decision could come from it. And when we're talking about toxicity within the fan base and in stadiums, I've genuinely felt when I've gone to games this season that fans have more or less been behind the team, particularly away from home, during the games, and then after the games, the kind of negativity breeds out with the boos and everything like that. And even in the home games, I felt that, but I felt it was actually more toxic at times last season, definitely before maybe the Europa League run started to kick in. I just felt fans was just even more frustrated, and I think it's turned into more kind of apathy and a sense of not caring that much during games and just trying to support the team through it. I've known more toxic times, definitely, when George Graham was our manager and Alan Sugar was our chairman. I mean, maybe I was just younger at the time and I noticed it more, and I felt it a bit more back then. But constant chance of George Graham out, constant chance of Alan Sugar out. You're not hearing anything to that sort of level at this moment in time. But if we do go and lose to West Ham, just because it's against West Ham as well, and what West Ham are showing this season, yeah, at the end of the game, it's going to be a very bad situation for the club.
Yeah, I think already a lot of the fan base are happy to make a change if in terms of, I don't think anyone really cares if Frank's in a job right now in terms of that sense. But I think if we were to lose tomorrow, I think the clamour for Tottenham to sack him will obviously be at the greatest it's ever been, I would say.
I feel like the feeling within the fan base isn't just like, do you want him in, do you want him out? There's just like, oh, he's still here then, all right.
Yeah, basically.
You know what I mean? That's what it's like. And it's just like, oh, surely after this game, if he loses, they're going to sack him, right? We lose, he doesn't get sacked, and then the whole thing repeats the next game, and then the fans, sing their hearts out, particularly at away games during the game, and then they boo at the end of the game, and then it's a whole cycle repeated every game. That's what it feels like. It feels like we're a fan base just waiting for a manager to be sacked, but don't really care if he's sacked or not.
Yeah, I guess. And now you have Arsenal fans chanting about him as well. That's adding fuel to the fire. That's never great when they've got a chant going about our current manager. So look, in terms of the actual report, it doesn't. Obviously, I think that's got to be the message from the hierarchy. If they're not going to sack it, that has to be the message, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I think that's what they're trying to portray. But in football, things can change very, very quickly. And I wouldn't be surprised if there is a defeat tomorrow and they do make a snap decision.
We can't lose tomorrow, man.
No, I don't think they will. I think a new signing through the door, that should give everyone a bit of a lift, a bit of a boost. He's obviously going to get a big cheer before the game and everything like that. So let's hope that makes a good impact.
Yeah, I hope so. In terms of the transfer, what the plans are for the rest of the transfer window, Thomas Frank would like to sign an attacking player who can play off the left if possible this month. And I'm looking at that, and we've had plenty of conversations about this, and I'm like thinking, we don't have a fit right winger right now. Kudus is out for the next 2 months at a minimum. Brennan's gone. We got Odebear who can play there, but that's not his natural position. On the left, we've got Tell. We've got Odebear, which is his natural position. We've got Javi, who can fill in there. Surely the right wing is more of a priority for Spurs right now.
I would say so, for sure.
Unless they are willing to let Tell go on loan. That is the situation.
Even if so, you need I think a right wing is probably more vital, because at least even if you let Tell go on loan, you still have Odebear can play there. You got Javi can go over to the left with Gallagher in the 10. You have some options. At the moment, we literally don't have. You've got Odebear, who's not really a right winger playing there at the moment. Bergvall had to fill in there against Bournemouth before getting injured. We actually don't have a natural right winger at the moment. Kudus is out to April. Brennan's gone. So we just don't have an option on who's a natural right winger. So even if Tell goes out on loan, I would say the right wing is still a priority, because at least we have some people who can fill in there. Right now, we just don't on the right. So I wonder if this, obviously, what Matt Law is saying, is it up to date information? Because I definitely think the left was coming into this window the priority, understandably. I think that was, when you look at the team, the biggest hole in that front line was definitely off the left. But I'm looking at it now, and I think for sure we need someone who can play on the, obviously preferably maybe someone who can play off the both, and Ndai would be that, I think. So there's rumours of him, so maybe if we can go for him, that would be great, and I think he can solve that problem. But I think if we're looking for someone specialised, I think off the right is definitely a priority. Even also Mwani, he can also play off the left. Didn't even mention him as well. He's someone who can fill in there if Solanke gets fit. So I think a right winger should be a priority for me.
Albeit we need both. That's the reality.
People say we need a right wing, left wing, and a striker.
Yeah, not wrong. On specific players, Team Talk are reporting that Tottenham are ready to swoop in for Manchester City attacker Omar Marmoush, and it is believed that a deal is very much in the works, with the player now open to leaving the Etihad this month. We know he comes back from the AFCON after this weekend. They play a fourth place playoff game with who are they playing against? Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Yeah, so Egypt against Nigeria in that game. Yeah, I mean, look, we've said it a number of times. I'd love to see Marmoush here. He's not a right winger. He's not really a left winger. He's more of a central player, in my opinion. That's where he does his best work, in my opinion. I just can't see it happening. Can't see it happening at all.
I'd love it to happen. I actually think if they played him in a 2 with Solanke, that would be a really good partnership. And obviously with Richarlison now got a big injury, I guess does our attention a bit turn to the striking position, with Solanke come back from a 6-month injury, Mwani not scoring, and our top goal scorer now out for 2 months. So maybe there's a feeling, could we do with someone who can play up front? And obviously Marmoush definitely does that. He's a brilliant player. For some reason this season, City just haven't got him going or haven't trusted him in certain games. But yeah, I'd love it, but I just can't see it happening. I can't see City letting him
thing is with Marmoush, right? He's the only one that can play up front apart from Haaland in their squad. Haaland is obviously playing pretty much every minute of every game right now. In the last couple of weeks, he's looked a bit jaded. Not scoring as regular as he was, a few weeks ago. So they're going to have to give Haaland a rest at some point, and that's where Marmoush, they're going to have to rely on Marmoush. So they're still in every competition as well. Like, there is no chance they let Marmoush go.
Unless
no
they've got
chance
someone
at
lined
all.
up.
Yeah, 100%. But, you know, they've done some great business so far with Semenyo coming in. It looks like Mark Gehi is coming in now, got the Here We Go today. Look, maybe something can happen in the last couple of weeks of the window if they've got someone lined up, but I just can't see it. Like, who are they actually going to bring in that's better than Marmoush right now?
There's no point for me for them selling it. But look, I'm not in the background. Maybe he's pushing to leave. Maybe, you know, we know with City, if someone wants to go, more often than not, they do allow the move. Would he even want to come to us as well? That's another question. So I think there's too many variables probably going against this deal.
If they do sign a replacement or they do sign another attacking player from now to the end of the window, maybe he wouldn't be open to signing for us permanently, but he might be open to signing for us with a loan with maybe an option to buy.
That'd be great.
Yeah. But again, can't see it happening. Again, another player that we're linked with is the same names all over again, is Samu Odomaron. Ekrem Konar says that Tottenham are monitoring Samu Agahawa. Agahawa is a top priority for Lang and Paratici. A formal approach could be made before the deadline. Again, would love it. Would love to see him in a Spurs shirt. It's probably one that if you pay enough money, you can get him through the door in January, him playing in the Portuguese league. But he's not in a priority position. If we're going to spend that sort of money, let's spend it on a winger.
Yeah, and I think that's the reality. Albeit, I do think come the summer, I think we'll be looking at strikers again.
Yeah.
I think the striker market at the moment in this January is not great. I don't think there's lots of good available strikers who are currently good in form. You know, there's even a suggestion we might be looking at Strand Last. I'm like, what if we're looking at him? I don't know what we're doing. But I think at the moment, you look at our striker options, it all just depends on when we're going to get Solanke playing again, doesn't it? Because in terms of how vital it is we get a striker in this window. We know Richarlison's out, I just mentioned, but we know the Moani, much as there's quality there potentially, he's just not scoring. That's the facts of the matter. He ain't getting goals, and I think his form over the last couple games is dropping off badly. And I think a lot of fans are starting to think, when we first started playing games, they're like, okay, this guy looks quite good. But right now, fans are thinking, people are questioning whether he wants to be here. We know that he was a deadline day move, and maybe we weren't his first choice.
And he's rejected us already.
He's already rejected us. So people are thinking, is this guy really bought into us? Does he really want to be here? He's not scoring goals. I think, look, to be fair, I looked at Solanke in training just now. It looked sharper than I thought. He scored a nice goal, but obviously that's training. I think the vital thing for me is getting him back up to speed as soon as possible. If we can say before the end of January he's going to be starting for us, then I think maybe no point signing one right now and best wait to the summer. But if it's going to be a whole long process, maybe we do really have to look at that position right now.
Yeah. It is worth noting as well, however much you believe in the Spurs ITKs of Twitter, that there's a suggestion online saying that João Palhinha has picked up a knock going into the game this weekend. So if that is the case, you know, Bentancur down, Palhinha potentially injured. So again, no natural six in the team.
Yeah.
No natural right winger, no natural six.
It's just how it is at the moment with us. We can't see. Look, if it is true, it's just yet again, another day, another injury. Every week we seem to be losing players. Let's hope it's not a serious one or whatever it is. I don't know if I would have started him anyway tomorrow, but obviously I don't want him injured because we need all the help.
How much do you believe it?
I do believe it.
You do?
Yeah, I do, because I don't think I don't think those are the kind of, like, when it comes to lying, right, about ITKs, when it comes to transfers, it's very easy to lie about, because you just say, oh, we're linked with this guy, we want this guy, and that can never happen. You can have a million different reasons. If he has picked up a knock and is out for tomorrow, we'll see tomorrow. You know what I mean? It's very, it's right there, whether it's true or not.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a stupid thing to lie about if you're trying to build some sort of credibility or whatever.
Yeah, but he might be getting some information off someone else, and this guy might be talking. Like, there's so many chain events like that that could be happen, whether it's true or not.
It might not be true. I just get the feeling he wouldn't say that unless he was confident that's true. But like, it might not be true.
Like, we have no idea who this guy is. He could be anyone. You know what I mean?
If it's not true, then fine. We have Palhinha fit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good point someone makes. Bissouma will be in the squad tomorrow, so there is a 6 there. It'll be interesting, like, if Paulinho isn't fit, how much chance does Bissouma have of playing?
I don't think he comes straight in, especially if we're thinking Gallagher's coming straight in, because I don't know if you would want 2 new players straight away coming straight into the team. I still think he goes with Gray tomorrow, so I think I'm hoping Gray and Bergvall in a double pivot. I'd like to see that.
All right. Well, that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts are on all those news updates that we have given you today. Look, we're going to move on. We've got a small matter of a London derby tomorrow, 3 o'clock kickoff. This fixture doesn't even get prime time anymore, which is crazy, isn't it? 3 p.m. on a Saturday. Tottenham against West Ham. Madness.
No, not even on TV. And it's a big game. Like, I don't know why they haven't picked this for TV, but it's what it is. 3 p.m.
Yeah, it's crazy. But look, Thomas Frank did the press conference yesterday. What is the team news going into this one?
Yeah, so fairly positive team news when it comes to Bergvall. He is fighting to be fit, which is really good news. There was fears, wasn't there, that he might be out for a while after aggravating that groin injury, but it seems as though he's okay. Sarr, obviously missing out. He's still at the AFCON. The bad news, though, Richarlison is going to be out for at least 7 weeks, says Thomas Frank, which is a massive blow to him with the hamstring injury. Kudus, we know, is out till April. Bentancur, we know, is out for 3 months. Kulusevski is out for the long term. We know he's a few weeks away from even potentially touching grass. Maddison, we haven't really heard about any updates about him, but I'm assuming he's going to be out for the foreseeable as well. But at least Solanke, Doggy, he said they're fighting to get more minutes, so they're both available and in the squad. And yeah, so we'll see how if they start tomorrow or not.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into it. An interesting predicted lineup today because we've got a potential debutant with Conor Gallagher. Still waiting for the Sousa announcement. Not sure what's going on with that, but we're going for a 4-2-3-1, I'm guessing, as per usual.
Yeah.
And as per usual, in goal, Guillermo Vicario.
Yep, I think he's going to get the nods. No suggestion. They're thinking about Kinski. In fact, Kinski is getting frustrated. Do you reckon part of the frustration with Kinski is the fact he sees mistakes by Vicario? He's like, why aren't I getting a go?
Yeah, I think that's a potential of it. Look, we have heard there has been suggestions. I think it was from O'Keefe or Gold or one of them, or maybe it was someone else. I can't remember. But they said, Kinski's development hasn't gone according to plan, and a big part of that may be, not enough game time for Anthony and Kinski. Obviously, he got a large stretch of games last season, but even in some of the cup games, Vicario's been favoured for. So there must be a belief behind the scenes that he's just not good enough just yet.
Yeah, clearly there is. Otherwise, if they really felt he was ready, I think he would have gotten a goal already this season. Because I think Vicario's form has been droppable, if we're being honest at times. I know he has saved us, don't get me wrong. But there are definitely times where if there was... Like with Arteta, when he signed Raya, but Ramsdale started the season, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he made some mistakes, but... he wasn't like dreadful, but he wasn't good enough to keep his spot, and he came out. And I think if we had a better keeper, I think they would have gotten a go by now with some of Vicario's mistakes. So the fact that he hasn't, I think he doesn't believe in Kinski right now.
Yeah, that's the reality. So Vicario in goal, right back, Pedro Porro.
I think so, unless we're thinking, is there any chance of Doggy starts? Because if there is, does Spence go off the right? If there's a chance of that.
I think a Doggy starts in the Champions League game
on Wednesday. Tuesday. Okay. So we're going to keep Spence. Or does Davis keep his place?
I wouldn't be against it, to be honest, because I think he's played 2 games and he's been brilliant. He's been good. I wouldn't say brilliant. He's been good in both those games.
I think it kind of gives us a bit more balance. The only thing is he doesn't really support the attack that well.
I thought against... who was the first game he played?
Sunderland?
Was it Sunderland? Yeah, I thought, he supported the attack decent in that game. Obviously scored as well. Had an effort saved. And, I thought he was linking up really well with Tell on that side.
I think he actually helps us a bit in possession. like in terms of progressing the ball. But when we get to the final third, he doesn't overlap. He doesn't really get there. He doesn't get in those positions like Spence does. So it's about what do we value more? Do we value more? But because I feel like he's actually in deep build up a bit better. He offers a bit more balance being on the left. But when we get into that position, he doesn't have the pace, I guess, to get in there. Get in overlap.
Get to the byline. He doesn't get to the byline, yeah.
And also
but he does those
winger.
crosses from deep, though.
Yeah, but he doesn't really because what you want is a fullback overlapping to draw a defender so the winger has a bit more space.
Yeah.
Whereas Davis doesn't really do that. So it's about what's more valuable in this game. Is it about more build up, or is it about what do you value getting into the final third? I'm guessing he's going to go for Spence.
Yeah, he will go for Spence, in my opinion.
I wouldn't mind seeing Davis again. Just
it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's absolutely mad. We're sitting here in 2026 and we're saying wouldn't mind seeing Davis play. And that's the reality. He's been good, man. You can't knock him. You can't knock him for what he's done so far in the last couple of games. So a big up to Ben Davis. But yeah, I think we're going to go for Jed Spence. Back two, I think that's pretty simple. Cuti Romero and Mickey van der Ven.
I think in our mind it's simple, but if you actually think about Frank's words after the Villa game, he actually earmarked Van der Ven as someone who he was thinking about maybe resting, but because Romero got banned and whatever, he played him. So does he get a rest maybe either win this game or maybe the wet game on Tuesday potentially? Because he's saying he was in his thoughts because he's been playing a lot.
If he's going to rest Mickey, I'd prefer him to do it in this game than on Tuesday. I think Tuesday's a bigger game. Obviously, this game is a very big game as well.
Is it a bigger game?
I think so.
If you'd rather lose one, it would be this one or Tuesday.
Well, the way I don't look at it like that. I look at if you ask me which one I'd prefer to win, probably Tuesday.
Really?
Yeah.
I think this one. I care more about right now because I think top 8, even if we win both games.
Look, you might, yeah.
So we need to be climbing this table. That's the most important thing because we're going to probably be in that playoff anyway, even if we win. We might do, even if we win both games.
Why? If we win, there's a good chance of us finishing in the top 8.
It's a good chance. It's not 100% though, is it?
No.
So even if so that's my point. If we win, we're going to climb the table a bit.
Yeah.
And if we win again, we'll climb the table. So I think winning those 2 games against West Ham and Burnley are more important right now than these Champions League games because we're going to be in that playoff, I think. That's probably the reality.
Oh, wait. That's a good point. Mickey's suspended for Tuesday.
Mickey suspended for Tuesday. Oh, so he has to play this game. All right.
Thank you, chat.
There you go.
Thank you, chat. Yeah, that's a really good point. I completely forgot about that. So that just kills that conversation dead. So the back 4, we're going to go for Porro, Romero, Mickey van der Ven, and Jed Spence. Moving on to the midfield now. The interesting conversation of the midfield. First of all, do we believe the Paulinho rumours or not? Because that's the main talking point.
The thing is,
here.
for me, I whether I believe it or not, I wouldn't have started him anyway, in my opinion, in this game. But I don't know whether Frank would have. Maybe Frank would have.
I think Frank would have.
It was interesting. I heard him in his press conference. He was talking about. So he was asked a question about will Gallagher coming in limit Bergvall and Gray. He said, "Well, Bentancur's gotten injured. We've brought in Gallagher. He's kind of replacement for Bentancur. And while Bentancur was fit, Gray and Bergvall still played a lot. So I don't see a problem there. So if that's what he's thinking, then I think it will be Gallagher and Gray.
But also, what he's saying doesn't really make that much sense because it coincided with Pape going to the AFCON. Bergvall got that injury as well. We've been really limited. Bissouma wasn't in the squad either. So, I mean, we've got many more options. It's not just a simple case of Bentancur or Gallagher, is it?
Yeah, but Sarr was also available. But his point was being...
Since we've persisted with Bentancur and Gray, I don't think Sarr's been available, has he?
I think he has. When did it first... I can't remember when we first played them, but I think he's been on the bench for a bit before going to the AFCON.
Yeah, he has been on the bench, but I think we've been mixing and matching the middle pairing up until a certain point. Then there was a certain point where he's like, all right, Gray and Bentancur are my middle two. I'm pretty sure that coincided with Sarr going to the AFCON. I might be wrong.
Anyway, regardless of that, I think he goes... If reports are to be believed, he was thinking about dropping Xavi for this game. I don't know if that's true. and then he was thinking about. I'm guessing that would have meant Gallagher in the 10 if that's the
I
case.
think it's absolutely nuts to drop Javi for this game. I think that's crazy talk. I really do. And if that was a serious conversation and that was a real reality, then I don't know what he's thinking. Like, you'd need Javi in a game like this. You have to have Javi.
I think maybe, I think someone's right. Rest Paulinho for Tuesday. I don't know about resting him because I think this is a very important game, but I think in this game it's more important to have some real forward-thinking players in the middle rather than Paulinho.
Well, look, let's put it this way. Give Connor his first start in the 8. I think Connor comes in one of the double pivots, so good to see number 22 in the middle of the park, and he'll go alongside Archie Gray.
That's why I think Gray and Gallagher in the middle. But also whether obviously Bergval's also an option.
Yeah,
because
I
it
think
looks like he's going to be in the squad.
Yeah, I think he'll be an option off the bench. In the 10, like we mentioned before, go for Javi Simmons.
Oh. Yep, Javi in the 10.
So I like that midfield. Gallagher, Gray, Simmons, all forward-thinking players. That's what I like.
Indeed. And also, I think what I like about Gallagher is you don't lose physicality with him in that middle as well, because he's such a aggressive player. The only thing I do worry about is positional discipline a bit. Is he going to go wandering? Is he going to, because he's going to be the senior player next to Gray there. He's going to have a bit more responsibility. I know Gray is a bit more of the defensive player, but you can't really trust him. Can you trust Gray to hold down the fort and Gallagher go wandering, if you know what I mean? That's the thing.
Maybe in not most games in the Premier League you can't play this double pivot, but against this West Ham side, I don't doubt that they can do the job.
Yeah, I think it should have enough defensive solidity to dominate West Ham, and also I hope Gallagher gets forward and supports Xavi.
Who are West Ham even going to have in the middle? Souček?
They have that. They've got an African player in there. I can't remember his name. Obviously Ward-Prowse ain't fancied. Potts. They got Freddie Potts, don't they? Look, they should be scared. That's for sure. We should be going all out at them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd even be interested if Bergval was fit to go Bergval, Connor, see what that does. But I don't think it's maybe a bit too chaotic for his debut.
Yeah. So that's the middle three. In the forward line, Odegaard on the right?
Odegaard on the right. He scored against Villa. Should be retaining his place. Although Bergval obviously played on the right against Bournemouth in that game. But I don't think... Unless Solanke's ready to start and it goes Moani on the right. But
I don't think Solanke's going to start.
I don't think there's any... there's no reason to take Odegaard out anyway. He played, scored a goal. Played quite well.
Yeah. For 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Odegaard on the right, Matty Tell on the left. I think Matisse is our most in-form attacking player when you're looking at how he's affecting games right now. I think it's brilliant. So he has to persist with Matisse.
I completely agree. I think Tell, he's playing really well at the moment. I've been really happy at the last few games how he's getting up to speed, and he's looking more confident than he's ever looked. He's trying things. He's actually being hard to deal with. He's not being easy for fullbacks now. He's taking them on and getting joy, and he's getting shots off as well. So I'm really liking him. And I think his link up with Xavi's been good. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing at the moment.
And then to complete the 11, I think it's going to be Randall Kolo Muani up top just because of limited options. And I was thinking about this, like, when we saw this update saying, it's potentially Xavi on the bench or Xavi, now he's said, I think the update was Xavi's back in and maybe Xavi can play on the left. Like, could it have been Matisse Tell up front instead of...
Could have been.
If he was going to go for Xavi on the left, Matisse up front.
You can't drop Tell at the moment. So, for me, if he was going to do that, then I would probably rather right now put Tell up front and then on Moani on the bench just because he deserves the shot right now, and I think he's playing better. Albeit, I think Moani's probably a better option up front than Tell. But I think sometimes a player's in a bit of good momentum, you just got to keep playing him. You can't be leaving him on the bench right now. So I think another option is maybe Scarlett, but he hasn't seemed to want to give him opportunities. Some fans suggested maybe should be given a go in this game, given Moani's lack of form.
Brought him on in a big moment though last game, didn't he?
Brought him on, played right wing though, didn't he?
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Played him right wing. Didn't understand that.
But it was a big moment in the game, and he actually, went to him.
He did, But yeah, I guess it was more to do with the lack of options rather than trusting Scarlett, maybe. But he did bring him on. He did do it. But he didn't play him up front, which was very odd.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Solanke maybe a bit longer this time, maybe half an hour on the pitch. And then hopefully after that he can start starting games. We'll see.
Yeah. All right. So this is the predicted lineup we're going for. Vicario in goal. Porro, Romero, Van de Ven and Jed Spence across the back four. Conor Gallagher making his debut against West Ham. Archie Gray and Javi Simmons in the midfield. Mattis Tell on the left. Wilson Odebear on the right. And Randall Kolo Muani up top. If this is the lineup, what is your score prediction?
I am going to go 2-0 to Spurs. 2-0. I think we're going to win. I think it's going to be, I think we'll go 1-0 up. It's going to be really awkward. And I think it's, West Ham are going to have a period when they're on top and we're going to keep them out. And then we're going to hit them with a sucker punch with like 20 minutes to go, make it 2. And then West Ham are going to drop their heads. They're going to look dejected and we're going to go and win the game.
Yeah, I agree. I think I said 2-0 in my Prem prediction as well. I think it could be a bit nervy for the first half, but I think once everyone settles in the game, maybe we'll get a goal just before half time or something, and then polish them off at the beginning of the second half, and then we'll just ride it out for the rest of the game. So it's imperative that we win this game. And the reality is that whenever Spurs fans come into a game confident and expecting a win, it usually goes the opposite direction. But Dr. Tottenham's got to just fuck off, basically. So, I'm going 2-0. Sim's going 2-0. Let's get into a few super chats before we get into the preview. Where are we? So here, Shuli Madoff says, when you two frauds get up in the morning and get ready to do this show, do you put clown makeup on before you put on your clown costume? Only on some days. Only on some days.
Surely woke up and chose violence today. Do you sharpen your knife while you're sleeping before you wake up? Bloody hell. What have we done that's upset you so much? Let me know.
Shuli Madoff, what is... You woke up on the wrong side of the bed today, mate?
Absolute... Well, fair enough. Go at it. But no, the answer is no, we don't.
Sometimes.
I hope whatever's troubling you improves.
Only on Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah, true. Not Fridays. Fridays we take off the clown costume.
Brilliant. Thanks for the super chat, Shirley, though. Much appreciated. Wibbers says an alternative back four is Spence on the right, Van de Ven on the left, with Romero with Dancer or Dragoshin at centre back. I mean, I wouldn't be against seeing that.
It's important to note that obviously Dragoshin and Solanke can't play on Tuesday, can they? So I wonder if that leads to any increased game time tomorrow, with that in mind.
With who?
Sorry?
Increased game time for who?
Dragoshin and Solanke. Because they can't play on Tuesday.
True. I think it's such a weird situation, isn't it? Because we took Solanke out the European squad. But actually, he only missed one game.
Yeah, I know. It is what it is.
This is Tottenham Hotspur, though, with these decisions. Like, we persisted with Solanke all the way up to that one game.
According to Ali Gold, the rule is you would have to have been injured for 60 days.
Yeah.
So I guess that was the first time we could.
But my point is like we took Solanke out, and then because of the way the fixtures work, he only misses one game in the Champions League. He's back for the last 2 games. This is ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, and now Richarlison's injured and we need him.
Well, as Frank said, if I know what I knew now, I would have... if he knows what he knows now, would he have changed it?
Who knows? Who knows?
But look, Matisse is playing well, so can't knock him. All right, let's get into the preview. Tottenham against West Ham, a game that they're dubbing as the El Sacico, the El Crapico. Both these teams coming into it in, pretty poor form. Do you believe that if West Ham lose this game, Nuno's gone? If Spurs lose this game, Frank's gone? Is this an El Sacico?
No, I don't actually.
Even with Nuno?
Yeah. Even with Nuno, I think they're going to keep him. I think they're making signings this window. I think they realised he's their best shot, I think, of staying up. Albeit, when was the last time they actually won a game? I don't even know.
A long time ago.
They did just beat QPR in the FA Cup. The last time they won in the league was Burnley on the 8th of November. So they haven't won in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games. They're 10 games out of win.
Perfect time to play Tottenham then.
Exactly. And I think what would really have been setting alarm bells was the Wolves game, obviously losing 3-0 to them. That would be, they'll be looking at that situation thinking, okay, maybe he really has lost the dressing room and lost the, the players at the moment. But I think even, unless it's like a real drubbing tomorrow, as long as it's like a defeat in a fairly tight game, I think he'll be safe. I think they're going to keep him.
If there's a 4-0 either way, is there a sacking?
If there's a 4-0, I think there probably is, yeah.
Both.
Either way. I think if we lose 4-0 tomorrow, I don't think Frank survives that. I really don't. I think that will be confirmation, okay, this guy really ain't working. Because I think at the moment, I think where the board's head is at is, clearly they're seeing what they're seeing. It is not really working on the pitch. We're losing games, but, the games are tight. The defensive record on paper, has improved a bit. We are doing stuff from set pieces. As you say, in the last few games, there's been a bit more attacking football. There's literally scraps, but, we have seen like 10 to 15 minutes a game of attacking football rather than like literally none, like we saw for a lot of this season. And, the games are tight. We're losing by the odd goal at the moment. And, the league table is so tight that a couple of wins, we could be back up there, back in the European Challenge. And we want to give this manager time. He's been a big face of the rebuild as well.
Still a bit of hope.
There's maybe there's a bit of hope, but I think if we lose heavily at home to a West Ham team who are winless in 10, considering we just lost to a team who are winless in 11 against Bournemouth in our last Premier League game, if we lose now to this West Ham team, considering it's a London derby, they're absolute dog shit, and it's another home game, I don't think they would be able to look at that situation and say, okay, this guy's worth backing anymore. I think they would have to make a change at that point, in my opinion.
Yeah, particularly of like the teams that they've been struggling against, like 3-0 against Wolves. That's an embarrassment, man. That's the most embarrassing result of the season so far.
Yeah.
That 3-0. They go to they play Nottingham Forest. They lose that game, which was a 6-pointer. They play QPR in the FA Cup. It had to go to penalties, didn't it? Or
No,
was it extra time?
No,
extra time it had to go to. So, I mean, like, they are not really a match for anyone right now, West Ham. But we've seen it plenty of occasions where West Ham have just been so down in the dumps, so crap, and they seem to turn it around and turn it on for Tottenham Hotspur.
Here's my fear in this game. I think we're going to try and start the game like we did against Sunderland, like we did against Bournemouth. Try to start on the front foot and take the game to them, and hopefully they struggle with that and we can break the deadlock. My fear is if we do go behind in this game, will we be able to turn it around? That's my biggest fear, I think. How many times have we actually turned around a game to win this season when losing?
How many times have we turned around? Well, we haven't won many games, so.
No. Have we turned around a game to win?
I don't think we have. I think we've only won once whilst we've been in front.
We drew to Brighton when 2-0 down. We drew with Bodo when 2-0 down. Have we actually won a game when losing?
I don't think we've won a game in Leeds.
No, we weren't losing.
No, we went 1-1. Leeds.
Even Wolves, we were losing. We didn't turn that around.
I think Leeds is the only game we've won and conceded.
Really?
Yeah,
is that right?
That's what it looks like. Yeah, I think it is. Leeds is the only game we've won and conceded.
Wow, didn't know that stat. That's also worrying in a weird way because it means we don't respond well to conceding.
Because our wins in the Premier League this season: Burnley 3-0, Man City 2-0, West Ham 3-0. We beat Villarreal 1-0 in the Champions League, 3-0 against Doncaster in the Cup, 2-1 against Leeds, 3-0 against Everton, 4-0 against Copenhagen, 2-0 against Brentford, 3-0 against Prague, 1-0 against Palace. That's all our wins.
Well, so for me, that's my biggest fear of going into this game for this team. If we were to go behind, will we be able to turn it around? And I'm really doubtful because once a team gets into a settled shape against us, we seem to run out of ideas very quickly. I think once the game is open, once it's like, 0-0, we're drawing and, the other team is still looking to kind of win the game or get a goal or something and leave a bit of space, I think we're a threat in those situations. But once a team just gets entrenched, we're going to defend this, we're going to ask you all the questions, we really, really struggle. So if we do go behind in this game, I am worried we're not going to be able to turn it around. If we take the lead, I'm confident we can manage that situation and manage that game. Although the longer this game stays 0-0, the more the pressure's going to build as well. If it's 0-0 at half time, regardless of how we play, there's probably going to be boos or whatever in the stadium. Like the longer we go without scoring, the pressure's going to build in this game, isn't it? It's going to be a bit of it's going to be a kind of difficult situation to manage, I feel, unless we get the lead early.
Yeah, and I think it's a possibility that we do that. I think that we've got more quality than them. We're at home where, obviously our home form's been disastrous this season, but I think it's been slightly better over the past month or so. We just need to put everything aside and just go at them from the first minute. And if we do that, I'm confident that we'll find the back of the net. And I think once we do go 1-0 up, I think West Ham can crumble a little bit. And if we score early, I think it could be a bit of a battering. It could be about 2-3-0. So, yeah, look, we just got to put all the negative thoughts aside at the beginning of this game. Just literally just go hell for leather at them. Press them high up the pitch. We've got Conor Gallagher there now. He's going to add an extra incentive in terms of how well we're going to be able to press them. And we know what West Ham have shown this season. They sometimes, start games well. But like many teams that, are low on confidence, once you get one past them, the floodgates can open a little bit. And I think that's what will probably happen in this game.
And we saw against Wolves that first half, they crumbled, didn't they? It was 3-0 by half time. Against Forest, so they did work quite good in the first half. They were 1-0 up. And unfortunately, it turned on a decision, which I thought was unjust. They had a goal ruled out, which would have put them 2-0 up. And then a few minutes later, they go 1-1, and all of a sudden, things went against them. I think West Ham, it's one of those teams where, yes, every Premier League team has, players to be worried about. Obviously, in West Ham's case, it's Jared Bowen, and he's the big one, isn't he? And he plays on the last line. He's always looking to get in behind. We're going to be worried about him. Obviously, thankfully, we do have Van der Ven, so there's one player. The one player you want in that situation is someone like Van der Ven, who's got that amazing recovery pace if need be. Just stop him getting in behind. Make sure he's not exploiting any of the space that we're going to leave. But I hope Frank doesn't overcorrect, because Bowen is very good at getting in behind. They're very good at finding him as well. That's pretty much what their game is geared towards, is just getting Bowen in behind. And I hope Frank doesn't adjust too much to stop that happening, and more focuses on what we're doing, just going at them. And get flooding players forward, because I think they will struggle to handle that if we do that.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this West Ham side, their back four, I mean, there's nothing to worry about there. Todibo, obviously, we had everyone, he was highly rated before he joined West Ham, but he's been a disaster of a signing, really, in their back four. Mavropanos, Scarles, Walker-Peters, I mean, our attack, however much you rate them or don't rate them, that's a back four that they should be able to handle. Their midfield, I think the only three players in their team that I rate a little bit are Fernandes in their midfield. I think he's a good player. Bowen, obviously. And Somerville. I think Somerville, on his day, can cause you problems, but he's very inconsistent. So if he turns up and he wants it that morning, and he runs, he's a tricky player to handle sometimes.
Yeah.
So those are the three players, and obviously Lucas Paquetá as well. But it remains to be seen if he's even going to play or not. He desperately wants out apparently and wants to go back to Brazil. So if Paquetá doesn't play, then that's one less player to worry about.
We just Tottenham for him to play this game in his final game, score a goal, and see off his the West Ham fans with a winner or something, or an equaliser. That would just be typical. But on paper their team isn't dreadful, but I think the way the team is set up, and I think as well the attributes the team has, they're lacking some certain things. They're lacking in the centre of that pitch massively physicality, and they get overrun constantly in every game in that central area, and I think that's going to be crucial. It's
because they keep persisting with Thomas Souček, man. Like, that guy has no legs.
Yeah,
he's literally got no legs. Like, he's good for a set piece goal, but that's about it.
Unless you're playing him like Fellaini, I don't see the point in having him.
And he got sent off against us last game, didn't he?
Sent off with a horrible challenge. He did. I also think in centre back, they've got good ball players, but they're not really good box defenders, and they do a lot of. I think these centre backs, in a way, might be, maybe not Kilman, because Kilman doesn't have great recovery pace as well. But maybe he's just not a top level defender, but like people like Todibo and stuff, like they're much more comfortable playing more on the front foot, and they're playing a lot on the back foot under a lot of pressure because the midfield keeps leaking players forward as well, and they have to deal with those situations. And I think they're not the best box defenders as well. When crosses come in, they're very much they lose their men a lot. They lose duels in the air. They're not the best defenders when it gets in the box. And I also think their fullbacks, I look at them, they're not the best defenders. Like Walker Peters again, he's much more comfortable on the ball and playing on the front foot. When he's asked to defend and he's under pressure, he can be beaten. He's not the best defensively. So I think their team is geared towards playing a certain type of football, but they're kind of not good enough to play that kind of football as a dominant team, but they're also more geared towards playing that kind of football than they are towards playing more counter-attacking football. And I think that's leading to what we're seeing now, which is horrendous performances, because it's a mishmash, this squad, and it's been really, I think individually none of these players are terrible, but as a collective it's a horrific team.
Yeah. Do you feel that if they go down, because I'll think about this, like if West Ham go down and there's a fire sale, which looks like there could be, I think they could be down there for a few years, man. I really believe that. Like, who in their team that you think that will stay around, or even that they can buy, that has got it in them to win that league next season? I think they could be down there for a good few years.
The reason I don't is because even if there is a fire sale, because they'll have the most money in the Championship and they'll have the name, right? They'll just sign the best players to go back up, even if it's not, even if it means they'll have to sign a whole load of new players once they come up because they're not good enough for the Prem. They'll make sure they've got the best in Championship class, if you know what I mean. Because anyone in the Championship, they can just cherry pick the best players and sign them all, and they'll get promoted. And if they do keep Nuno, who's obviously got a lot of experience going back up, which I think would be the right thing to do in a weird way, even if he does send them down, I think they'll have the manager. I don't think they'll have trouble attracting Championship players to that club. So I actually don't think it'll be an issue coming straight back up, to be honest.
I don't know. I think it could be quite difficult for them. Yeah, look, we've actually got quite a decent record against West Ham. You know, you look back at it, we've only lost to them once or twice in the last 5-6 years.
What, at all?
Yeah. You know, it's a welcome kind of record, because there was a time where, you know, they were beating us quite regularly. We battered them last year at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We battered them this season already at the London Stadium. There's no reason. There is literally no reason, with the way West Ham are, why we can't go and batter them tomorrow. We've battered them already this season under Frank.
Have you seen our home form?
Yeah, I've seen our home form.
Have you seen our performance against Wolves?
I don't care.
So there's a reason.
No, there's no reason. Like, we've already battered them this season. This team
There's no
are terrible.
reason with the team we have, for sure, that we shouldn't be.
But what I'm saying is, even the way we've playing, we've still given them a hiding this season.
Yes, but even if you watch that game, it was very even up until they got a man sent off, and then we went and got a couple of goals. You know, one brilliant goal from Bergvall and another one from a set piece. But it's not like yes, we battered them and we deserved the win. Don't get me wrong. But I remember watching that game, wasn't completely convinced by us, even in that game, even though we won 3-0 against West Ham. There was quite an even game before the red card.
Yeah.
And they had Potter in that game as well, who they've obviously subsequently sacked, although they have gone worse since Potter's left, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's not they've gone better.
I feel like...
I'm not saying we won't batter them, I'm just saying there's definitely reasons why we won't.
I think when you're looking at our home games, the one against Brentford, Liverpool, Sunderland, Villa, there have been things in those games to suggest, you know, Spurs' home, kind of the way we're playing at home, is turning around a little bit, because that's a far cry to what the previous 5 games were at home that were absolutely dreadful. So if we can take the good things that we showed in that game, particularly the Brentford game where we, you know, just played them off the park for the majority of the game, like if we play like that, we will batter them, surely. But we just can't let that first 45 minute against Villa. But obviously we're playing a very good Villa side. We're not playing a very good Villa side. They won't put us under as much pressure. You know, Villa didn't let us get out for those first 45 minutes. You know, that's not going to be the case with West Ham. We're going to be the ones that are going to be pushing them, hopefully further deeper into their half. So, look, for me, everything suggests Spurs will win this weekend, but that's always famous last words, isn't it? Famous last words. So
they were playing a team who hasn't won a game in 10. If they do win, the gap becomes 10 points then to between us and them. There's a lot of motivation for them to win this game. For us, we just need to be getting back on track at home in the league. We need to be climbing that table again. And I think the signing of Gallagher should give the crowd just a little bit of a lift before the game. I think that those things can make a bit of a difference. I think if we can come out flying out the traps, hopefully, if we come out similar to what we did against Sunderland, where the only goal we did score was the goal from the corner, and apart from that, we actually didn't create too much apart from obviously being on top of them and. They struggled to get near our goal in that first half.
Yeah,
but we didn't
Sunderland are actually a defensively resolute side. West Ham are not.
Yeah, we didn't take full advantage of it.
Yeah.
So we need to do that in this game.
Yeah.
We need to make sure if we are as dominant as we were against Sunderland, we make it 2 or 3. We don't just let rest our laurels at 1.
Yeah.
That's important.
It's also very important for West Ham this game in terms of Nottingham Forest play Arsenal.
Yeah.
So they know probably if they get points in this game, they're making up some ground on the team above them. So there might be a bit of an extra incentive for West Ham. Not only are they playing Tottenham, they've got a serious opportunity to cover some ground on the teams above them. But I don't know. I just feel like it seems like a really toxic environment behind the scenes at West Ham. And can you see them avoiding the drop?
At the moment, I can't, because I can't see who they're catching. I can't see this good form coming, because at the moment the gaps is quite significant now. 7 points to Forest, 8 points to Leeds. I don't see anyone else getting dragged into it, really.
Yeah. All of a sudden, if they win this weekend, that gap cuts to 4 points?
Yeah, but still, I can see the other teams just picking up more points now in the end of the season than West Ham currently. If they do win, obviously they give themselves more chance, but they need to hit some form, which could happen. You never know.
There's a whole half a season to go.
There's a lot of football, and it only takes 5 or 6 game run, and all of a sudden you're back right in the thick of it. So I'm not ruling out. I'm just looking at what I'm seeing at the moment, and it's really I'm struggling to kind of see where this form is coming from. Now they have got some new signings through the door. Maybe that gives them a bit of a lift. Maybe that helps. Maybe Paquetá, if he leaves, as much as he's one of their best players, maybe it's a negative energy in the dressing room they don't need. Maybe that kind of... Sometimes that can happen. Sometimes you see that, like a player leave and you're thinking, what are they doing? But actually gets the whole team to rally a bit, and all of a sudden the performances start to get better. So that could possibly happen. I think Nuno is a good manager. There's no denying that. The jobs he has done at other clubs at a similar level to West Ham, I think is evidence that he is a good manager. He can manage at that level. So if he has...
Why has it gone so bad for him, though? Like, no one expected it to go this bad.
No,
for Nuno.
of course not.
Like,
It's
everyone
got worse than Potter.
Exactly. Everyone expected it to get better. But in fact, it's got much, much worse. And I can't really put my finger on why it's got much, much worse.
Because of the mishmash of the squad. I think it's a appalling team. Not in terms of quality, in terms of how it's designed. I think it's terrible. The reason why they're slightly better under Potter is because they're more geared to play. The players are more like offensive players. It didn't work because they're still not good enough for that, but they're more suited to that than they are to playing how Nuno wants them to play, because they need to be more physically robust. They need more to be able to stop the opposition. They need more pace. They need to be better at box defending, and they're not good at any of that stuff. They're horrible at that stuff. So I think Nuno's really struggling to get a tune out of these players because they're not geared to his football at all. I don't think, that squad. So I think the mishmash of ideas and the lack of suitability is leading to Nuno really struggling at the moment, struggling badly.
Well, regardless, it's due to be a big, big day tomorrow in the Premier League. Tottenham against West Ham, 3 p.m. kickoff. You've got Sim and Daigle with you in the studio on the watch-along, so tune in at 2:45. I'll be there at the game. I'll be there at the protest, so hopefully if you're there, get to say hi to a few faces tomorrow, which I'm very much looking forward to. And if you don't know about the protest, there's a protest starting on the corner of the South Stand outside, which is now the Beaver Town, which used to be the corner pin, at 2 p.m. So if you want to make your voices heard, get down there at 2 p.m. protest against the Tottenham board. And yeah, look, once you get in the stadium, make sure to support the team throughout the game. And yeah, let's just not have any sort of negative atmosphere while the ball's being kicked. And if there are frustrations, let's take it out on the team and the manager after the game. But I'll be there supporting the team through thick and thin from my seat in the stadium. And I'm very much looking forward, as I always am, to go to a Tottenham game tomorrow. So
we'll see when the whistle blows.
The cockerel will be crowing, mate. But no, I always look forward to going to games, no matter what state Spurs are in, apart from if it's Tim Sherwood days. And then I had to be dragged to go to the stadium. But no, I love going to the games, and I love seeing all the people and you know, chatting about nonsense. So yeah, I'll be there, looking forward to it. And whoever's there, come and say hi, and see Sim and Dago on the watch along. And we'll see you all tomorrow, people. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.